Okay, but let's talk a little bit more about Neptune. Neptune was the last time in Pisces from 1846 to 1862. Its cycle lasts 165 years. So now Neptune is again in Pisces after 165 years. And it will be there from 2012 to 2026. I have a video about Neptune in Pisces. It's on YouTube. Please check this video if you want to see more about this. So after Neptune entered the sign of Pisces, so in 2012, until the year 2020, Neptune was quite okay there. So people were interested more in spiritual growth. They were doing yoga. Many new spiritual techniques emerged. You know, uh, Things were going quite well with the collective. And then suddenly, bam, in the year 2020, when Neptune reached the 20th degree of Pisces, then in that time, suddenly people started to be afraid and collective feelings were growing, but in a negative way. Um, we said about Neptune that it easily creates fashion or creates something that makes people to be in a trance-like state when everybody does the same thing, but nobody knows why they're doing it. Because they're doing it because just they cannot resist it. Of course, some epidemics can be part of this. And Neptune also creates disillusion, spread lies, mystifies facts, creates sacrifices, leads people to believe into something that is not clear. Neptune also can make the confusion and then gives the solution, which is also part of the lie. But as in the Neptunian time, people have strong desire for salvation. They just go for that, no matter if that is real or not. And this is now happening with the needle thing, because many people are going to get this because they believe it will save them. They don't understand that they are just in the project. On the other hand, of course, there are many positive effects of Neptune in Pisces. Of course, it can be destruction, but the destruction can be good. Actually, this is starting now. It started in 2020, but also in 21. When I say now, I mean in this our time, let's say 20 and 21 years. When old kingdom is destructed, Neptune helps this process also. And this is good because there is no reason for those old things to survive anymore. Neptune is the planet of floods and earthquakes, but they are mythological floods. And they have even greater significance for a man than real floods. Neptune's card in the mythological tarot is the Tower. And when I say tarot or mythological tarot, I mean that one that was written by Liz Green and another author. So mythological tarot, not any other. The symbol of the tower is actually Neptune, because in front of the tower on this card you see Neptune with its trident. The trident, according to some interpretations, is a negative trinity, and it is identified with the symbolism of the serpent or the chthonic water forces that lead man to ruin, to materialism, lead him to low passions. So it's a very negative card. But of course can be good, because sometimes things have to be destroyed. So let me remind you about the mythological story that is behind this card. This is the card, the Tower. So the story that this card is based on is the story of King Minos and Minotaur monster from Greek mythology. Namely, the king Minos received white bull from the god Neptune or Poseidon, but he was supposed to sacrifice white bull to the god Neptune. But the bull was so beautiful that he could not do that, so he hide that bull, and he sacrificed another one. Then his wife was impressed with the white bull and she wanted to connect with this animal, which was done in a way. And the result of this connection, of this love, is the monster Minotaur, who had the bull's head and the human body. In order to hide the shame that happened to his wife and his family, the king Minos built the labyrinth and he hid the monster there. So this monster was not just the monster, but that monster actually ate people. So they had to sacrifice each year people to this monster. Everything was stopped by the hero Theseus, who with the help of the Ariadne's trade won the battle over this monster. So after his achievement, Poseidon or Neptune, the god, broke down the labyrinth. So this is the symbolism of the broken tower. And all of the human victims who were brought to the Minotaurus stable were saved. And then actually new century begins. Please read this myth for yourself and think of it. Consider whether this myth is showing also the fall of the tower, the fall of the old forms, or pay attention to that perhaps it shows also something else. And that is the destruction of the old forms that were hiding the truth. So actually this myth is showing the revelation of something that was hidden because it was immoral and abnormal. And this is, of course, the destruction of false morality, whose victims were all of the people in that kingdom, or we can say, of course, all of the people in this our kingdom or this world we live in. So much of what we are living now is the consequence of discovering lies and manipulation of the great evil that happened actually in the year 2020. That year, I think that the tower was demolished, and now there is this wave of Neptune that is coming to cover it. This is some process of destruction of the old structure still happening in a way.